It's going to list all of the invalid UPCs. It's going to show you the SKU that you scanned before and the SKU that you scanned after the invalid UPC. So that way you can go look out on the floor, find that invalid UPC, and whether you need to print a new label and manually count it or print a new label and scan the UPCs that got kicked out. That'll allow you to do that. Once you find those UPCs that were kicked out and you find out exactly what SKU, size and width, or if it was not size related, then you can go to Enter Physical Counts and you can enter those UPCs, which will be the SKUs that got kicked out. So you would just type in that SKU or use the lookup to find the SKU. And then you would enter in the sizes for the UPC that got kicked out and save it. Now we're to the point we've either entered all of our counts in manually, or we've scanned them, or we've used a reader and uploaded those, so we're ready to do the items not counted report. This is a very important report to run. What this report tells you, it looks through your computer system and it tells you all of the SKUs, all of the style numbers that have some sort of a count in your system, whether it's a positive count or a negative count, and you have not counted that SKU at all. So you either missed completely counting it, where you can take this list, print it out, and make sure that you didn't miss anything, or it might be SKUs that you returned to the supplier and you forgot to take them out of stock, so it still shows that you have on hands for that style when you really don't. If you ran this report and did nothing with it, it will keep whatever it shows is on your on hand on the items not counted report in your system. So it's really important to either add a count for what's there, or there's a way to zero out a count to tell it that this item or these sizes are not here. So you're already at store one. Again, it's very important when you're running anything to do with physical inventory that you're at the right store that you're working on. And you can sort it by supplier, class, SKU, or location. I'm just going to do supplier. And if you counted your entire store, you would just leave this blank. If you counted an entire supplier, then you would just put that supplier in the by supplier field. Same thing goes for class, color, SKU, or product custom entries. In this example, I have counted my entire store, so I'm going to sort it by supplier and I'm going to leave everything else blank and add job and run. So this report's going to show me the SKU and then exactly what my computer says that I have on hand. So I'm going to take this report and print it and double check my inventory. Basically, do I have it? And if I have it, what do I have? Or I don't have it and I need to get rid of it. So once I've gone through that report and I'm ready to make my adjustments, I'm going to go to Enter Physical Counts again. And I'm going to start taking the SKUs that I either found or didn't find and either zero it out, or I'm going to enter a count for it. So if I found that this style really had some quantities, I would put those quantities in and I would click on Save. The other example would be if I found out that I did not have any on hand, maybe I returned these to the supplier and I didn't take them out of stock, I would bring this SKU up, the size grid would come up blank, and to zero this out, all I have to do is click on Save. I don't have to put 0 in each size. I just have to click on Save, and that tells it I don't have any of that style. Even though it said that I had 20 of them, I don't have any. And by doing that, that saves that and tells it that I do not have that style on hand anymore. But if I do have it, I would pull up the SKU, the size grid would come up, and I would go down to the sizes and put exactly how many I have in each size and click on Save. We do have a utility if you have several pages of items not counted and you've gone through and you've counted what you truly have, and you say, okay, I've counted what I have and I want to completely zero out everything else. There is a way that we can walk you through and say enter 0 counts for everything on the items not counted report, and that's through Inventory, Physical Inventory, and enter 0 counts. You probably won't see that on your screen. We have to enable it. It's very dangerous, so you want to make sure that we walk you through it. But if you do have a lot of items where you think it's going to take you too much time to pull up each SKU with nothing there and clicking on Save to zero it out, then we can help you by going through the enter 0 counts. But you got to make sure that everything else that you did have off of that items not count report that you counted before we can do this. So that's the enter 0 counts where we can do that if needed. The next report that we're going to run is the variance items report. This is going to show you by supplier, if you sort it that way, everything that you counted by SKU, the quantities of each size, what the computer shows you're supposed to have, and what the variance is. So to run that, I just go to Inventory, Physical Inventory, and Variance Items Report. Again, you're going to be at your store number at the top right, since you're working on that store number for your inventory. So you can sort it by supplier, class, SKU, or location. I'm going to sort it by supplier. And there's the criteria. In most cases, you're going to leave this criteria blank. In my situation, I had done inventory on my entire store, so I'm going to leave that all blank. Even if you're working on one vendor, it's good to leave it blank, because what if you accidentally counted a shoe from a different vendor? Maybe you were working on New Balance and you accidentally counted a Nike. If you put New Balance in here, you wouldn't realize that you counted a Nike because it wouldn't come up on the report. Then when you go to update your inventory, if you only counted that one Nike shoe, one quantity, one size, it's going to update that SKU to only having one on hand, and it may have 40 on hand. So my recommendation is when you run the variance items report, just leave this blank and then sort it however you want to sort it by supplier. This way it will bring up everything that's in your temporary count file and show you what you counted versus what the computer says and the variance. So we're going to click on Add Job and Run. So it'll bring you to the report history, and you'll just click on Variance. And you can print this report out. So I would recommend taking this report and double checking. Maybe someone accidentally counted a section twice. This is where you're going to find that type of information. So here it's going to show you the style number, what you counted, the quantities per size, what your computer says you have on hand, and what the variance is. At the very end of the report, you're going to have totals for your store to see exactly your total counted for that store, total on hand, and total variance.